Human vertebrae columns. Okay, we know that the human vertebrae columns total up will be 33 of them. Divide into 5 parts, which is a cervical vertebrae. We can call as neck here, around the neck, used to support the skull. Second will be the thoracic vertebrae. The locations will be surrounding the chest. There will be 8 until 19. Third will be the lumbar vertebrae, will be from 20 until 24. Is around the waist. Okay. Fourth will be the sacral vertebrae. They are 25 until 29. Okay, they are around the pelvic girdle. Last will be the caudal vertebrae. Is 30 until 33. The importance of the vertebrae columns is used to support the body. So if we look at the cervical, we can say to support the skull. Okay, then can use to locate the spinal cord. Okay, then it can use to support the whole body, example the lumbar vertebrae. In the thoracic vertebrae, we can say to support the breathing mechanism, help for breathing as well. So, sacral and the caudal vertebrae can use to support the positions of the body. Okay, first of all, let me look at the cervical vertebrae. 4 of them will be the cervical vertebrae, but they have different characteristics or their size. Okay, then we look at the atlas vertebrae first. Okay, this is we call as atlas vertebrae or first cervical. Here we call as axis or axial. This is a second cervical. Okay, let's look at the other. This one we call it cervical number 5. This one will be the cervical number 7. Okay, for cervical, we only emphasize on 3 types. 1, 2, 3. Because 3 and 4 will be around the same shape. Okay, so let me look at the atlas first. Okay, this one is the atlas. Okay, we look at the structure. So this one we call as spinal process. Spinal process will be at the posterior parts of our body. Posterior parts. At the side here, we call as transverse process. Then also at the side, you can see have a hole. Okay, this hole we call as transverse foramen. It only can found at the cervical vertebrae. The other vertebrae cannot found. Okay, center here have a hole, have a big hole. Okay, this one we call as neural canal, or we said large neural canal. They have a small spinal process. Have a pair of transverse foramens or foraminal. No centrum. If have a centrum, here will be have a largest place at here, but don't have. Then this one or the C here is the facet. F-A-C-E-T, facet. Facet used to articulate with the other bone. So this one is a first cervical, right? So it used to attach with the skull. Okay, let's look at the second. This one we call as an axial vertebrae. Okay, it will have the same characteristic. You can see at the side there, they have a hole. This one the hole, and also here the hole. So this hole we call as transverse foramen. Transverse foramen is to allow the blood capillary. Okay. Then and the nerve to pass through from the body to the brain, or from the brain to the body. Okay, then the other will be general structure that have a spinal process. Here, spinal process. Have a transverse process at the side. Okay, have a facet at the surface here to articulate with the other vertebrae. They have a neural canal at the center. If you compare to the neural canal, the atlas have a largest, the axials or axis will be smaller a bit. Okay, the most obvious one characteristic how we recognize in this structure. This structure we call as odontoid process. You only can found at the axial vertebrae. So if you look at the side wheel, okay, so here will be odontoid process. Okay, neural canal, spinal process. Okay, so what is the functions of odontoid process here? Odontoid process is to allow the head to rotate. So if we join with the atlas, you can see the structure like this. So it allows the head to rotate. Okay, atlas can allow the head to nodding. Okay, you can see they are turning. Okay, so these two always working together to let your head to move. Okay, then we look at the third one. Okay, here. Okay, this one, how we know that it's a cervical? We can see at the side here have a transverse foramen. This one is a centrum. If you compare, first, second, okay, atlas, no centrum. Axial centrums also very small, not obvious. This one not obvious because it's replaced by the odontoid process. But the cervical number 5, you can see the centrum is very clear at here. Then if we compare to the neural canal, this one will be small a bit, no? Okay, this one is a spinal process. Spinal process here will be, you can see have two tips here, so it calls bifid. Bifid, B-I-F-I-D, bifid of spinal process. You only can find this one in the cervical. Okay, so here is a transverse process. This one is a facet used to connect with the other vertebrae. Okay, if you connect, they will be like this. Okay, so this side, here, and here will be connect. Okay, will be connect. So you can see the place where they connect with the other vertebrae. Okay, this one is posterior at your back. This one is in front. Here will be in front, the other will be the back. Okay, then we look at the C7. You can see the size will be bigger a bit, but they won't run away from the spinal process, transverse process, centrum, and the transverse foramen. Okay, this one is a cervical. So let's look at another. Okay, second is a thoracic vertebrae. Okay, you can see this one, thoracic vertebrae. Use this one. Okay, you can see here that we have a longer spinal process. If we compare to the cervical, it's longer, right? Okay, then the transverse process at the side also very long. Then you can see here the centrum here. If we compare, centrum will be bigger. Okay, and also the heart is a medium shape. We can say it's a heart shape of centrum. Okay, then the neural canal will be smaller a bit, right? Okay, then the side here, this one very thin. This one is a facet to connect with the other vertebrae. Okay, so let me see. This one for, let me connect. When we connect, we can see this is of this kind of things. Okay, then here they are connected with the other vertebrae. And center here, they have a cartilage dish. Okay, used to absorb the shock as a cushion, absorb the shock, reduce the friction. So every vertebrae, they have a cartilage dish at here. Okay, or intervertebral dish. Okay, then you can see at the side view, the spinal process, it will be pointed downward or pointed backward. Okay, then we also can see at the side here, this one, at the transverse process and the centrum here, there will be have a facet. Okay, facet to connect with the ribs. Okay, so this one is a thoracic vertebrae. Okay, then if you notice that they don't have the transverse foramen like the cervical. At the side here, they don't have this small hole. Okay, and also if we look at the here, this one also is a type of thoracic. This one is a thoracic number 12 and also the thoracic number 11. You can see they don't have a longer transverse process. Okay, you can see they don't have a longer transverse process. Okay, but the centrum is a heart shape, like a love shape. No? Okay, then we move to the other vertebrae. Okay, the third vertebrae will be the lumbar vertebrae. Okay, you can see they will still have the spinal process at the tops here, at the tips here. Okay, but they will shorter. At the side here, they have transverse process as well. Also, it's very short. They have neural canal at the center. Okay, then this one is the centrum. You can see the centrum, the size is very big. Okay, if we compare to the thoracic vertebrae just now, okay, you can see very obvious. The spinal process very short. Then the transverse process also short, and the centrum is very big. Why the centrum is very big? Because it can bear the weight of the lower back of the body. If this one damaged, means cannot support the body, so the person cannot stand very upright. Okay, so this one is a difference. Okay, then another thing that here they don't have a transverse foramen at the side. Okay. Okay, this one is a sacral vertebrae and the caudal vertebrae. Okay, this part is a sacral, this one is a caudal. So let's move to the sacral vertebrae first. Okay, you can see here sacral vertebrae is very big. Actually, it's 5 bone fused together. You can see here first, second, third, fourth, and fifth bone fused together. Then you can see among them they have 4 pair of the hole here. Okay, this hole is to allow the nerve and the blood vessels to pass through, so supply the blood to the bone and to the tissue, to the cell. Okay, then we look at the last part here. So this one is a caudal vertebrae. There will be 4 bone fused together to form a triangular structure, okay, which is pointed at one end. You can see here this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 small bone fused together. Okay. Then at here you can see here. Okay, this one facet here is to connect with the pelvis. Okay, then a part here will be connect with the last lumbar vertebrae. Okay, so now how we recognize a vertebrae? First one, very obvious, don't have centrum, so it's atlas. Second one, we can see that they will have an odontoid process, so must be the axis or axial. Okay, then the fourth one, we can see they have a heart shape of centrum. They have very long transverse process. Okay, this one is belong to thoracic vertebrae. Then the right hand side here, you can see at the side here they have the transverse foramens. So this one must be the cervical vertebrae. And the last one, you can see they have bigger, very big centrum, so it's a lumbar vertebrae. Okay, so besides recognize by using this type, you also can look at their transverse process and the spinal process and also centrum to recognize. Okay, so let's say when I have a comparison here, first thing, identify what is a vertebrae. So here, left hand side is a thoracic vertebrae, right hand side is a cervical vertebrae. How can you explain the reasons? When explain the reason, you can say that in the right hand side here, cervical vertebrae, they have a transverse foramens, but thoracic vertebrae don't have a transverse foramen. Okay, so both of them actually used to support, and also transverse process and the spinal process function is for muscle attachment. So if you want easier, when they ask you about the functions, you can straight away write that for muscle attachment. So that's all for the human vertebrae columns. Those are tiny vertebrae.